Morning YouTube. So after a long weekend of mentoring a small group of people, one of the topics that come up was asking questions and receiving answers. The communication with the spirit world. So in this video, that's what we'll be discussing. Now there is a very simple exercise that we can do in our everyday. So if you're just looking into development or you're trying to understand how the spirit world communicate with us, one of the basic things that we have to acknowledge is that it's communication. And communication means imparting or exchanging information by a means like speaking, writing, etc., etc. So it's very simple. Like you take your partner or someone that lives within the home with you or very close to the home with you, and just analyze how you spark or start the communication process. It may be morning, evening, how was your day, etc., etc. And then look at that process with someone that you maybe haven't seen for a while. You know, you're walking through your local town centre, you're going to get a coffee or you're going to get some groceries, whatever it'll be, and you bump into someone that you haven't seen for a little while, and look at how that conversation is sparked. Look at how that starts off. How difficult is that conversation? How free is that conversation? There's some people that we want to avoid for the rest of our lives, and there's some friends that we haven't seen for absolutely ages, and it's like a moment hasn't passed since you last seen them. The conversation almost just continues. Analyze that, see how that feels and what that was that allowed it to carry on or made it feel awkward. Just have a look at that. And then do it with a complete stranger. Just approach someone in a supermarket while you're getting your bread or your milk, or at the petrol station when you're standing in a queue, or simply just walking down the road. Whatever it is, just spark a conversation. You know, like whatever it'll be. A good example would be one that I had this weekend, and I was in my local Starbucks that's across the road from where I run my classes. And as I walked in, I could see a woman was like holding something, and I couldn't quite make out what it was. And then I saw a little head pop out, and it was a skinny pig. So it was a guinea pig with no fur. It was weird. It looked like a rat, really. And immediately I just wanted to know what it was, and I wanted to touch it, and I wanted to sort of engage a conversation with the lady to find out the information that I was looking for. So I just leant over, you know, what is that? What is that you've got? And she said, oh, it's a skinny pig, and she started explaining everything to me. That conversation lasted about half an hour, where she gave me all the information and told me about its little woolen top that she had knitted for it, and so on and so forth. So, but what I'm trying to get across here is that the way that we communicate in our everyday lives is going to be massive within your mediumship. If you're someone that's very shy and you don't know how to ask the questions or get the answers that you're looking for, then that is naturally going to transfer into your subconscious, because your conscious mind is like that anyway. So if you're someone that wants to get more information or deepen your evidence in some way, this is an absolute brilliant exercise or process that you're going to have to go through to start to change who you are as the individual, to be able to get the depth of evidence or information that you're looking for. So what I did was I got my group of students to sit down and pretend that their recipient, the person sitting opposite them, was someone in the spirit world, and they had to very quickly strip them of information to be able to present it to the classroom on what they found out about said person. And it was hilarious to watch, and I know they won't mind because we all laughed about it, and it was quite funny to watch on some of the questions that people would ask, you know, like getting the conversation running. Now, mediumship is the easiest thing to do in the world. Honestly, it really is the easiest thing. The hardest thing within that task of mediumship, connecting with the spirit world, is the presentation on how we're going to deliver the information that we have exchanged with that spirit person. And so we need to very quickly get specific details, specific items from that person that we can then give off to find said recipient or give to the recipient if it's a one-to-one sitting stroke scenario. So it really is as simple as knowing who knows the best information about the spirit person. And the answer will always be the person, the spirit. They know their story. They know what it's about. They know who they are and how they are perceived, or how they believe they were perceived here on earth while having their physical life. So it makes sense to ask the person their best information that I can then give off to a recipient. What we have to be careful of is how we're going to present that. The way that you as the individual try to project yourself, the mask that you wear, whether you come across as confident or whether you come across as shy. This is something that you are mindful of, the way that you are as a character, and then the projection that you give to people. We need to make sure that the people that we're working with understand the projection that was given, and we need to get that information from the spirit communicator. Then we need to package it in a way that they understand. So you're never gonna make a placement with, I have your father here and he's an extrovert and he's like the life and soul of the party. Wherever he goes, life is one big party. If this guy is a complete and utter introvert, it's not gonna work. So we need to find how we can describe the emotions or the feeling or how that person feels in our company. And the way we do that is by the way we spark or strike up that conversation when we first meet them, when we introduce them to audience or recipient. And the way that I do that, and it is the simplest process in the world, is I see them and I acknowledge them. I can see you're a man, I can see you're a woman, I can see you're a child, whatever. And I can see their description, which I don't think holds any kind of value really, unless there is something very distinctive, like they're missing an eye, or they're missing an arm, or missing a leg, whatever will stand out from normal. And then ask them, what's your story? And I simply ask that question because they're the best person to know their own story. What is the defining points of their life? What was the legacy that they left behind for people to remember about? Now, equally, some of those stories are going to be amazing. You're going to have charity workers and people that worked in the medical industry that saved lives and all sorts of stuff. Equally, you're going to have some not so nice people. You're going to have people that were terrible people while they were here. The way they treated people wasn't right. The way they spoke to people wasn't right. That's their evidence. You can't make it nice if it's not nice. And the only person that has all of those answers, the only person that is going to give you all of that information is your spirit communicator. So it is simply a technique of striking up conversation. How am I going to approach this next conversation? Now, I deal with hundreds of people every week, whether it be strangers, friends, family, whatever it is. And I know that as I enter the room to talk to a partner, as I talk to a child, as I talk to a work colleague, the way that my persona, my demeanor, my attitude towards that person is very, very different. It's unique for every individual that I come across. And that's because of maybe I don't know the person, or there is a love connection there in some way, which will change the way that I am communicating, imparting or exchanging information. And so try it in your everyday life. See how you talk to the people that are around you. Then see how you talk to the people that are not so present in your life. It's from time to time. And then try and start just a random conversation with a complete and utter stranger because something has sparked your interest about them. Try it, see how it feels, and then when you're next at development, after that process, you've done all the analysing, you've worked out how it felt, take it into your mediumship, and you will notice a marked improvement immediately. So thank you for watching the video. Subscribe if you aren't already. Share the video if you can, and I will see you all midweek.